I'm Sarah.
And I'm Byron.
And this is Syron.
And we're getting better every day. Today, we're talking about something mysterious. The Marfa Lights.
Yeah, we went and saw the Marfa Lights. Marfa Lights are in Marfa.
That's where they get the name. And Marfa, Texas, is named after a lady named Marfa.
You're making that up.
I saw it on Wikipedia.
No, you didn't.
Nah, okay. It will be on Wikipedia soon. I'm gonna write it.
We actually saw them. They only show up 12 times every year. At least that's what Wikipedia told us. That Bart probably wrote.
I didn't write that one.
So we actually saw them, and that is a very rare thing to happen. 12 times a year is really, really rare.
It is. And so we got super lucky, which is why tomorrow we're going out to buy lottery tickets. Just a ton.
They were amazing because, well, it was weird because they look like regular lights.
Yeah.
So it's like not that fantastic. When you look at them, you're like, oh, they just look like regular lights.
But when you know the backstory, it's nuts.
Well, okay, so it's like one of those things where you think that it's just the town or like some headlights or those blinking towers.
Yeah.
That have
like
lights.
Radio towers.
Yeah, radio towers and things like that.
Or...
So the lights, what they do, the reason why you know it's not towers.
Whoa.
Oh, what?
Let's explain where Marfa is. For those of you who've never been, who have never had the opportunity to visit.
I think we mentioned that we're in Texas.
We are in Texas. Coming at you live from Austin. But earlier this week, we were in Marfa, which is about
6.5 hours from Austin.
I was going to go with miles. About 200 to 300 miles to the west of
measure
Austin.
Everything in hours. So now can I move on to the light part?
Well, it's important to understand, like, Marfa is this solitary little town just in the middle of the desert.
Oh, yeah. It's in the middle of the desert. There's nothing else around it. Right.
There was a sign, right, where we saw a sign that was like on the edge of town, and it was like
nothing for 75 miles.
Exactly.
So you better get gas or else you're gonna
There's a bug in here.
Die from your car breaking down in the middle of the desert.
The solitude.
That's exactly what the sign said.
The solitude of Marfa is such a concern that they have to put up warning signs when you leave town.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it's in the middle of nowhere. Byron just ate a bug.
It flew into my mouth. I didn't spit it.
Oops.
I spat it.
Gross. Did you spit it?
I did.
Oh.
It's not that I'm above eating bugs. I've done it.
Sick.
But
that's gross.
I ate dinner, so I'm fine.
It's like literally on your shorts right now.
Just in the middle of something. I'll get it later.
The lights, the reason why you know they're not towers or like cars or houses is because the lights will split apart or come back together or change colors.
They do.
So it goes from like white, sometimes they're white, sometimes they're red, most of the time they were yellow. Appear and then they would disappear and then they would come back maybe in a different place or in the same place. Sometimes they were big, sometimes they were small.
But on top of the nature of these lights is the fact that if you go out there during the day, there's nothing out there.
There's
like
nothing.
At night, when it's all dark, you think to yourself, oh, maybe there's a tower out there or another road. But no, and then you go about in the day, and you can see is just a desert plain. Got out there.
So it's just flat nothingness.
Right. There's no road. There's no other town.
Right.
Like, I don't know how many miles you have to go before you hit anything else in that direction. But you can go to the edge of Highway 67 is where this is. Highway 67 runs into Marfa.
Yeah.
And so you have to drive, it was like 9 miles back out of Marfa to this
pretty much
viewing station that they actually
Which
built.
you don't have to go to the viewing station
No.
to see them,
Yeah.
but it's easy
We saw
to
'em.
have a nice place to actually stand
It's very nice.
without it being like, because even though it's deserty, they still have like nasty grasses.
Yeah.
Like,
and we're here to tell you
attacking
just
you.
how nice the viewing station was. It was
Okay,
delightful.
we're not gonna.
I
They
go
do have a
back.
bathroom there. Actually, took use of that.
We used it.
We need to talk about the theories of the lights, because the whole time I literally kept saying, like, how can these even be possible? My mind just wants to assume that something's out there, like a tower, or like, because there were a lot of people there when we were there, so there were kids out in the field, like, shining their cell phones, being like, oh, it's Marfa Lights, and can't pull up. My mind couldn't fathom that the lights were like an actual phenomenon, right? And then we read at the viewing station, which we so greatly appreciated.
Very useful plaque.
that back in 1883, right?
Yeah, good memory.
I know. The reason Well, you were saying that you didn't think it was real, what was written on the plaque, because there's no, like, definitive historical documents about how someone in 1883 saw the lights.
Yeah, you can make that kind of thing up. Like the whole
Also,
Marfa
Indians,
Mitchell thing.
Native Americans saw the lights.
Theoretically.
That's what this plaque said.
Mm-hmm.
So we can only go by what maybe Marfa made up on the plaque to say that their lights are famous.
Right. But the story was that some cowboy, he saw these lights, and he's credited as the first person to report the lights.
Right.
Other people had seen them, but he reported them to what? I don't know. A newspaper? I don't know. But...
Or did Marfa make it up?
That's the question that we're here to not answer, because we don't know.
We have no idea.
But he reports that he sees these lights. He thinks that they're Apache campfires, because that's where the Apaches lived. It would have made sense as a smart guess. But as with most of these theories, come the next day, he went out there and found no campfire remains. That's
right, because it only happens at night.
That's how you verify that
Obviously.
kind of thing, I guess. Thus begins the mystery. They do track down some Apaches and ask them, and they say they've seen the lights too.
Right.
They thought it was the stars. This was...
falling stars.
They thought it was stars that had fallen down to the earth. But that thus began the mystery. This random cowboy in 1883 brings it to people's attention. And
other people see it, like
people,
us.
Yeah, people have been going out to Marfa to
see the
see
mysterious
these lights and investigate it, and they still don't know what it is.
So we tried. I couldn't believe that no one had an explanation. So the next day, I was literally on Google for we were waiting at a table for 2 hours, because that's Marfa for you.
There's just not much to do there. People do just sit at tables for 2 hours.
And all I found were just people having theories, and no one could definitively say exactly what it was. They would be like, oh, it's the hot air and the cold air coming together, because the hot air from the desert and the cold air coming in, and they
create a mirage. This is your classic mirage. This is why you think that the road disappears when you're looking down a hot highway.
But it looks like water.
Or when it looks like water.
Yeah.
And so that's the
but
idea.
But it's not.
Is that
don't be fooled.
You can't see the mirage because it's nighttime. But the effects of the air are causing lights to reflect back at you. And
that's theory. But if there were lights back in the day, we were like, oh, maybe it is reflecting off of the lights off the highway behind us when we were looking at the lights. But it's like, if you're back in 1883 and you don't have lights everywhere, then how can it be reflecting stuff?
No. Further theories are that it could be swamp gas. Easily debunked by the fact that there's not a swamp there.
There's no moisture. People have said that on the ocean they see mirages of lights on the ocean because of the same kind of gases or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that one was called. Sorry, you were right. That was one of the ideas.
Thank you.
I don't know. St. Elmo's fire, maybe?
I don't know.
I think
what
that's
that
called
is.
St. Elmo's Fire. Fact check on Wikipedia
Yeah, I don't.
later. Last theory.
Oh, there's another theory?
Yeah. But
Oh, the one you believe.
Fun.
This is the one Byron believes because of the incident you had while in the desert.
That's another one. Quickly.
What?
Quickly, it was the fact that it's electrostatic.
Yeah.
Causing lights, and this could be true because it's very dry, and dry air causes electrostatics. And I got shocked every time I touched the car door.
I never did, so maybe you carry more electricity
constantly
in your beard.
Final theory: it's just some yahoos out in the desert shining lights.
That's not. You kept saying that as a theory, legitimately, the whole time we were there. I don't believe that theory.
It might just be some people from Marfa who benefit financially from other folks coming out to their town
because it's a no man's land and they have nothing else to do there.
Nobody ever had a reason to go to Marfa except to escape.
Yeah, the fact that they have nothing to do there could be the reason.
No, what are you doing tonight?
I'm not doing anything.
You want to go shine lights in the desert?
Yeah. Because we have nothing else to do in Marfa.
Right?
Back in 1883, they were bored too. What else were they gonna do?
If we're going with this theory, the idea is that nugget of information.
Oh, so the information on the plaque was made up. The teenagers who were bored and went and shone lights were like, "Hey, let's make up some kind of historical facts, put it on there, and that'll be." What
I'm just saying
the history of Marfa Lights. If this is the actual theory that kids are out there shining lights for people like us to see, the thing is, they're not making any money. We did not pay anyone to go see the Marfa Lights thing.
But we had to pay to stay in the town. We had to pay to eat.
So it's just one big small town conspiracy theory.
But we got to admit that this happened on the biggest tourist day of the year. Right. Everyone goes for spring break. That's when we were there. And we went Friday night of spring break.
We did go Friday night. The biggest.
Right. And then they said
everyone was there.
They got everyone in Marfa, and that's when the lights show up. They tell us they only show up 12 nights a year, and they happen to show up on the night that everyone's there.
Let me clarify that Wikipedia told us it's only 12 nights.
Verifiable fact.
So it may or may not be true. Okay, so you should tell us what theory you think is true.
Until then, guys, seek out the mysterious, go on adventures, and let us know what you find. And before we go, we want to give a shout out to a special someone.
Common Sense Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for making sure we would make this video and start our YouTube channel. It all goes out to you, everyone who's watching. Go check out his channel, Common Sense Mike. Sense with a CENTS.
Thanks, Mike.
You're the best. See ya.